than your download speed. Fortunately, it's really easy to check your upload speed before going live on YouTube, and that will allow you to pick the right quality and bitrate settings so that you're minimizing the risk of any issues. So before you go live, head over to speedtest.net. If you're on a computer, then you can run a speed test there on the website, or you can download the speed test app to your iOS or Android device and run it on there as well. So when you run a speed test, it'll actually do 3 quick tests. It'll test your ping, it'll test your download speed, and it will test your upload speed. And remember, it's the upload speed that's important for live streaming. All right, so you've run a speed test. What can you do if your internet speed isn't fast enough or isn't stable enough at the speeds that you need to get the quality that you want to YouTube? Well, the first thing that you could do is look at the potential to drop the quality of the live stream. So if you were trying to do a 1080p stream, which meant that you needed a minimum of 3 megabits per second upload, you could look at maybe doing a 720p stream, which will drop the minimum requirement down to 1.5 megabits per second upload. If you're on a shared internet connection either at your home or office, then there's the potential that there's other people there using the internet and chewing up all your precious bandwidth. If that's the case, you might be able to limit their usage, or you could look at a 4G or an LTE connection. If you are going to be using a 4G or an LTE connection, then just be aware that those speeds can fluctuate dramatically. So make sure that you're well above your minimum threshold for your bandwidth. Most live streams today on YouTube are pushed out at a 720p resolution, which means that you need a bare minimum, as we mentioned before, of 1.5 megabits per second upload speed. Personally, if I ran a speed test and it came back saying I had a connection of 2 megabits per second upload, and it was a solid 2 megabits per second, I still probably wouldn't do it. I just like to have a bit of a buffer in there because you never know what's going to happen. So for me, the bare minimum for a 720p live stream will be 2.5 megabits per second upload. And I mean bare minimum. It sounds so simple, but you'd be surprised how many people don't know how fast their internet connection is and don't run a speed test before they go live on YouTube. And it's probably the biggest thing you could do to help prevent any unnecessary issues while you're live on YouTube. If you found this video helpful, make sure you hit that big subscribe button, leave us a comment and give us a thumbs up. If not, thumb it down, we like the feedback. Make sure you head over to primalvideo.com/subscribe to subscribe to our weekly video updates. I'll see you next time. Hey, it's Justin Brown.
हेलो
दोस्तों, कैसे हैं आप? मैं हूं आपके साथ विकास। और जैसा कि आपको मालूम है, लॉकडाउन चल रहा है। लॉकडाउन के चलते सब लोग घर पे हैं, तो ऐसे में लोग इंटरनेट का बहुत ज़्यादा इस्तेमाल करते हैं, उस पर वेबसाइट्स का ज़्यादा इस्तेमाल करते हैं, अलग अलग स्ट्रीमिंग एप्लीकेशंस का इस्तेमाल करते हैं। तो चलिए गाइस, अब मैं आपको बताता हूँ कि आपको अपने फोन पे 720p या फिर उससे ऊपर की वीडियो स्ट्रीमिंग करने के लिए क्या करना होगा। तो अभी सबसे पहले चलते हैं YouTube में और चल करके मैं आपको दिखा देता हूँ किस तरह से वीडियो शो होती है फिलहाल के लिए। तो अभी चलते हैं लाइब्रेरी।
Well, this time it's the latest Oppo Reno. This phone, as you know, is a feature.
यहाँ पे अभी आप देख सकते हैं ये वीडियोस हैं, तो मैं कोई भी वीडियो प्ले कर लेता हूँ। तो ये हमारे ही चैनल की वीडियो है। तो गाइस, अभी आप देख सकते हैं यहाँ पर वीडियो प्ले हो गया है। ये एक फुल एचडी वीडियो है और मैं आपको क्वालिटी दिखा देना चाहता हूँ आपको अभी यहाँ पर क्या-क्या ऑप्शंस मिलते हैं। तो अभी आप क्वालिटी में जाएंगे और इसके बाद में आप यहाँ पर देख सकते हैं आपको 4 ऑप्शंस मिलते हैं, जिसमें कि मैक्स है आपका ये सबसे नीचे 480 पिक्सल्स वाला। यहाँ पर आपको 720 नहीं मिल रहा है, फुल एचडी नहीं मिल रहा है, जबकि ये वीडियो जो है मैंने अपलोड किया था फुल एचडी क्वालिटी का वीडियो है, तो यहाँ पर फुल एचडी आपको शो होना चाहिए था। अब देखिए, ऐसा कोरोना की वजह से हो रहा है ताकि यूट्यूब सारे यूजर्स को एक अच्छा एक्सपीरियंस दे सके, यूट्यूब के जो बैंडविड्थ है वो ज्यादा बिजी ना रहे। तो सोल्यूशन के लिए आपको क्या करना है, आपको जाना है सिंपली प्ले स्टोर पर। प्ले स्टोर पे जाने के बाद में आपको यहाँ पे कोई भी एक VPN एप्लीकेशन डाउनलोड कर लेनी है। तो VPN एप्लीकेशन आपको डाउनलोड कर लेनी है, उसके बाद आपको VPN एक्टिवेट करना है। तो सबसे पहले मैं दिखाता हूं मैं कौन सा VPN यहाँ पे यूज करता हूं। मैं जो यहाँ पर VPN यूज करता हूं वो यूज करता हूं ब्राउज़र। तो आप देख सकते हैं ब्राउज़र मेरे फोन में, और ब्राउज़र कुछ इस तरह का VPN है, फ्री VPN है। मैं कोई पेड वगैरह यहाँ पर यूज नहीं करता हूं। कनेक्ट कर लेना है इसको। अब कोई भी चाहे तो कोई भी VPN यहाँ पर यूज कर सकता है, आपको सिंपली इसको कनेक्ट कर लेना है किसी अदर कंट्री के साथ में।
Anyway, let's get into this shot now. Let me set them up and come back and explain to you how we're going to explain to you the first guideline.
तो अभी मैंने यहाँ पर YouTube को ओपन किया है और फिर से मैं जाऊँगा लाइब्रेरी में और फिर से मैं वही वीडियो यहाँ पर प्ले करने वाला हूँ। तो अभी मेरा वीडियो यहाँ पर प्ले हो गया है और अभी चलते हैं इसकी क्वालिटी में। तो यहाँ से मैं ऑप्शन ओपन कर लेता हूँ और अभी आप देख सकते हैं यहाँ पर आपको सारे ऑप्शंस दिख जाएंगे जो कि पहले हमें सिर्फ
Okay, very important before you actually start the shoot. Now, in our Shoot Like a Pro 1, we talked about the rule of third. Okay, let's compose this shot in rule of third. Okay, so I'm going to compose it. I've composed it as rule of third. Now, as you can see, let me take a shot. In this shot, they are on the left side of my camera and they are looking outwards. Okay, and 2/3 of the frame on the right side is actually empty, which is actually the inside of the frame.
use a slower shutter speed. Now you can start with 1 second and go to 5, 10, 15, 20 depending on what kind of image you want to take. You can be a lot more creative with your light trails and you will get very creative images. Just make sure you're using a proper sturdy tripod and you're taking the image. The second idea is shooting through an object. Now what do I mean by that? Now as you can see this image, there is a foreground and midground and the background. Your subject is not the foreground. It might be in the midground or background, and for the foreground, I'm using a different object. You can use any kind of card paper and fold it, or you can also use a bottle which is cut in 2 parts. You can be a lot more creative. But you get the idea, right? You have to shoot through it. What this does, it gives you a different dimension, because now your foreground won't find a water surface or somewhere where you can get that reflection. What you can do is you can place a glass or a different smartphone just beneath your camera and tilt it in a way that you see the reflection, and you can take the image. You can convert a very boring subject to a very interesting one just by incorporating some reflection. The next tip is underwater mobile photography. Yeah, you heard me right. Nowadays, a lot of flagship smartphones are waterproof, but not all the phones are waterproof. Does that mean you can't do underwater mobile photography? No, that's not the case. You can do it. The images you're seeing right now, that's actually taken with a smartphone where the smartphone didn't even touch the water. Yes, how I did it is I took a jar and I placed the mobile phone into it. You can take any object that is transparent. Just make sure the object is clear enough so that you get good.
Do you want to learn to draw professional and impressive artwork from scratch that will blow people's minds?
Welcome to Pixel Village, and I'm Radhakrishnan. In the photography world, there is this saying that digital photography actually democratized photography. If you come to really think about it, something else has actually really contributed to democratizing photography. A mobile phone. So in this video, we're going to give you a few tips on how to improve your mobile phone photography. But for demonstration purposes, we're going to use a 2.5-year-old phone, just only to show you that it's not exactly the phone or quality or resolution that really matters. What matters is how you use those equipments. So, on to the shoot. So first thing first, it's mobile phone photography, all right, but it's photography, which means a mobile phone should be given the same respect which you would give a conventional photography camera. I have few tips for you. First, let's start with the lens itself. Because it's a mobile phone and you usually carry it around on your body, it's highly likely that the glass in front of the lens could be smeared with oil, body lotion, dust, etc., which will affect the quality of the image. Carry a small lens cleaning cloth, something that you would use to clean your specs, for example. Make sure that the glass is cleaned properly. The next one is go into the camera app and activate a 3x3 grid. And as we go along, I will explain to you how to use those grids effectively and compose your image. Last but not the least is holding the phone itself. I've seen lots of people holding the phone like this with one hand and trying to take a picture with the other. Obviously, you're going to end up with a shaken image. I recommend that you hold the phone with both hands exactly how you would hold a camera. Hold the hands and use either your thumb or your index finger to take the picture. And that will help you shoot a sharp image. Now let's move around and see if we can get good subjects to shoot. I just located two gentlemen sitting there, having their conversation after their morning walk. Let me walk towards them, take their permission, and see if I can get some interesting shots there with them. Okay? So I've asked for the permission, they've granted me the permission to shoot. So next thing is, when I look at them, very interesting faces. Looking at the place where they are sitting in, there's a lot of distraction in the background, but they have very interesting faces. If you can just walk till that wall there. Yeah, please. Thank you, please. So typically, when you pull out the camera, what will you do? You take out, okay, he will pose for you and you take a picture, correct? But of course, you got the person. Now, since you got an interesting face, the best way is to go close, fill the frame and shoot. Now, I'm going to go close. Nice. Now, the background is bright. I think if I make the background a little dark, this picture will improve. So I'm going to move them in front of this black. See, now look at the light and see the difference. Wonderful. To me, it is very nice. The next one is use a frame within the frame. So when I looked at it, I saw this interesting black door frame and I thought I will frame him inside that. Okay, can you come here please? You know, in a situation like this, you will pick up your frame and pick up the camera and take a picture. But if you want to really make the picture look interesting, you can use the next direction, which is include this frame in our frame. So, sir, can you come inside, stand inside, come forward slightly? Yes, and face that way. So because he is